Okay, so remember when we're working out a problem like this, the first thing you need to do is look and see out of the 4 variables that you have, which would be the easiest one to get alone. In other words, which one would be easiest to solve for. Looking at this, as you can see, this x, it has a 2 in front of it. That would be somewhat difficult. The y, you would have to move the 2x and then the negative 3. This x would be easy to move because all we have to do is get rid of this 6y. And then this y right here, you would have to get rid of the x and the 6 as well. So looking at this, as you can see, this x right here is the one that would be easiest to get alone. So we're going to take this and we are going to solve for that variable. Okay, so if I want to get x by itself, what you would want to do is subtract 6y, bring it to the other side, and we end up with x equals, I like to put my variable in front, negative 6y, and then that's a positive 18, so plus 18. Okay? Make sure you don't combine these two right here because they're not like terms. This one has a y, this one is just a constant. So what this becomes right here is our start equation. Okay, so that's important because we are going to want to come back and find this equation, so that's why I like to put a star there. Also, you need to put parentheses around the expression, which is this part right here. Okay? Now, looking at the other equation that we left alone from the very beginning, we want to find this variable right here that we had solved for, and we want to plug this into that variable. So if you first find the variable that you solve for, it's the x. So let's circle the x in the other equation. Okay, next you want to draw an arrow from your parentheses to that circle. Okay, this kind of visually shows you that you are literally going to be taking this part right here, squeezing it into that x, and you're going to be replacing it, which is why it's called substitution. Okay, so I'm going to take the 2. Okay, I always say, well, you start off, you see a circle, that means that that circle should be something else. We need to replace it with something else, and that is these parentheses right here. Okay, negative 6y plus 18. And then make sure when you go back up, you know, I know that you wrote a lot right here and you kind of want to think that you're finished, but really all you did is just replace this x with something else. So everything else needs to follow it. So we have minus 3y equals negative 24. Okay. Then the next thing you want to do is solve for that variable. So first, distribute the 2. Okay, we get negative 12y plus 36 minus 3y equals negative 24. Okay, combine like terms. Negative 12y minus 3y gives you negative 15y plus 36 equals negative 24. Okay, trying to get y by itself, so you would want to subtract 36 to both sides. Okay, negative 15y equals negative 60. And then last step to solve for y, divide by negative 15. We get that y is equal to a positive 4. Okay, so looking at this, technically you're halfway done. You've done the majority of the work, but we only have one part of the answer, and there are 2 parts to it because it's an ordered pair of x, y. Okay, so we're going to want to come back and get this, but the next step that I have is that you need to find your start equation, and as you can see, this is why we have a star, okay, because it's kind of like a lot of work. So start equation is right up here. You want to take the value that you solve for and plug it in for y. Okay, so if I do that right over here, we've got x equals, this is, again, is from the start equation, x equals negative 6y plus 18. Okay, and then you just want to plug in what we solved for y, which was just 4. And then once you evaluate this, you're going to get your x value, and then you are finished. Okay, so negative 24 plus 18. Negative 6. Okay, and that's our x value. So really, if you want to bring this x down all the way, you can, just to show that our answer, you know, you have your ordered pair x, y, -6, and then we had solved for y earlier, and that was 4. Okay, so that is your solution. You can always go back and plug -6 in for each x and 4 in for each y to see if it makes your equations true. That is it. A lot of work, a lot of fun work.